Good morning. Denise Dryden, Sunday morning video out on Bainbridge Island. And today I want to talk about the snooze alarm. What happens when we hit the snooze alarm? And it sort of came together with this concept that, our climate right now in the world is pretty intense. Not climate like as in weather, but climate as in energy and the way that we're feeling and what we're noticing and what we're seeing. And so today is Sunday, August 2nd. We are approaching 5 months of lockdown, depending on what state you're in and how severe the lockdown structure is, or whether you're in an unrestricted state and you're watching people come in from all over the country to come play because there's no restrictions, like Montana. There's masks, required, not required, testing, travel restrictions. We have a lot of fears. We have a lot of judgments going on. So it's like there's some intensity going on. And we're also in the sign of Leo, which is a fire sign, which means that there's this little sort of pressure coming up at you all the time. And tomorrow is the full moon. So for those of you who follow the moon, the last 2 nights have been kind of like, oh boy, here it comes. And it's a big one already because those of us who follow the moon have been feeling it for 2 or 3 nights now. And so I can hardly wait to see what tonight and tomorrow are going to bring. So it makes sense that each day holds these challenges of, how we're going to gather ourselves together, how we're going to step into, facing challenges, addressing them, performing in them, showing up for them, just even enjoying them, right? So today's the time, this is the time when we want to sort of look at the reasons why we hesitate. That there are these, there's reasons why we don't just jump right out there. There's a lot going on. And so we kind of pause and we go, do I really want to go out there? Or am I going to just push the snooze alarm and give myself 10 more minutes, 2 more days, another month, another year, and just keep, sort of moving it through at our own pace. So what we know is that in our sleep routines, if we hit the snooze alarm and keep pressing it in order to wake up, that there's about 1 out of 3 people that use that on a regular basis to sort of get themselves moving, whether it's to postpone the day, whether it's because they're tired and they need extra sleep. But there's a whole strategy around snooze buttons. So I thought I would sort of explore it and see what comes up. And I was sort of surprised with where it went. So when we hit a snooze button, when we give ourselves more time, right, then we have this energetic confusion, like our body is going like, wait a minute, you told me everything was going to go this way, and now it's not. What am I supposed to do with that? And so, this rational sort of, we were destined, we were set, we had set the time to get up at this time. So it makes sense that the energy would sort of get a little pent up, right? It would sort of burst, it would sort of hit, and there would be anger, there would be frustration, there would be some other kinds of pieces. So the other thing is that our brain gets confused. So our energy is already sort of like going a direction and it has nowhere to go. And our brain gets confused, which is the mental, right? And because it's set to perform, to organize, to implement, to get the day ready, and it's already starting to sort of categorize. We got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this. And so when we pull it back and say, not yet, it goes, whoa, for how long? What does this mean? And for some of us, 10 minutes is a snooze, or a day postponement, or whatever we want to use the snooze analogy of, right? Our brain can go into sort of a little bit of a fog, like, I don't understand. We were going to do this, and now you're telling me to just wait. So like, for how long? So think about the mental. The mental gets kind of constricted, and then sometimes it tries to control even more because it doesn't know what to do. And then let's go to the physiological system, which is our physical system. It gets confused because if we're just talking about mornings and sleep, we're in those REMs, right? We're in the REM sleep, and then what happens is we pull out and we hit the alarm, and then the body's like, all the biochemicals start moving around, like time to get up, time to start working, time to start doing this. And then the chemicals are flushed and you go back to sleep to wake up. And so it means that we get kind of tired. and not as agile, not as quick as we wanted to. So the reason I'm talking about this mind, body, spirit thing is that, or energy thing, is that we have these agreements that we have with our mind and our body and our energy. And when there's a change, everything kind of goes into, wait, what? We have a change now. So it's like this with any intention we make. It's like an intention is when we throw something out there and we say, I'm going to get up at 7 because I do a video at 9 and I like to have my tea. I like to write down what I want to talk about. I like to practice or like make sure that I understand the concepts. I like to take a shower. Like I have my day, right? So that intention. And so everything in all of our systems, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, energetic, starts to align with that intention. And then what happens is that if it doesn't happen, we start to go into some emotional stuff like, I'm such a slacker. I can't do this. And we start to beat ourselves up. So our emotions come in and we push the stories around. We bury them. We deny them. We have these negative or positive self-talks. Positive self-talks could be like, I got up on time. Negative self-talk could be like, yeah, no, I'm just, I can't do this. And so what happens is these emotions start getting going too. So now we've taken all 4 elements and we've tied them into this concept of what happens when we set an intention out there and then we press the snooze alarm and we delay or we deny or we postpone. So part of the work that I've done for years as a coach for family systems is looking at what happens when we have multidimensionality as an awareness system, which means we can gather information through our senses, not just through our cognitive observance, but through our senses, and we bring information in from a lot of different places. It's what it's highly sensitive people are all about. It's what happens when we are multisensory as well. And one of the things that I learned from my dear friend Bevan Neiman, who does Perceptive Souls, she's been a mentor, she's been a colleague. We've played with this. We worked, from the sensitive to the empath stuff, and she does this whole concept on procrastination, perfectionism, and avoidance. And procrastination is what happens when we have this vivid observation and sensory world, and we know what we're doing, and we start to calculate. We throw these little intentions out there and we know the pros and cons on both sides. We can see all of the ramifications of what's going to go on, right? So our thoughts and our emotions are already projecting into the future to make that happen. And we can play things out a lot of ways. And sometimes it's like, I'm not ready to start that because it's going to be painful. Or I know what I don't know on that test, so I don't even really want to start studying yet because I don't know that I'm going to be able to achieve what my parents think I need to, or what I need to, or I'm going to go into this interview and I already have read all the signs in the office and the people, and I know that this is just an interview. I'm not going to get the job. So, when we gather information from a lot of different places, the procrastination, the delay makes sense, right? Because we can feel the inevitable and we can look ahead to the challenges and the possibilities, and we start to play those out. So snooze alarm and procrastination are connected. It's sort of an interesting thing, right? So being able to access all of this information that we have, as a multidimensional or multi-intelligent being, means that we have to pay a lot of attention to how we counterbalance what we learn. What do we do when we feel some intrepidation about where we're going? What do we do when we feel fears? What do we do when we feel resistances? So I have found that this snooze alarm exploration has been really transferable into a lot of different greater perspectives in life. So I've been playing with this, and it was like tap, 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 talk about snooze alarm, talk about snooze alarm. So what happens when we set the intention and we align our systems and towards something and it is challenged or it is changed? Like, what if, here we are, we already have next fall planned, we had our summer vacations planned, we have the house payments planned, we have this, we have this, we have this. So in our outer world, it could be work, it could be home, it could be finances, it could be relationship, it could be school. These are these things. What happens when the outer changes? Or what happens when the inner changes, which is the desire, the focus, the alignment? What happens when that changes? Because if too many things change at once, it can be overwhelming. Like I thought I had a really good handle on all these balls in the air and all the things that I can sort of hold on to on a multi-dimensional level, but now there's too many. And it can be easier to hit that snooze button and go, I'm going to check out for today. I'll do something next week. Or I'm going to play for the weekend and I'm going to begin to consider this on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe after next weekend, right? So we push back so that we can ignore, or we could sleep, or we could rest. Or we push back so I can feel better. Sometimes we even push back so you can prepare. Like, I need a little bit more time to get all of my energy gathered because it's all over the place. So I started reading tarot cards at the farmer's market again. Yesterday was my second time since 2011. When I was first challenging myself with how do I read in public places? I went down to the Whitefish farmer's market, and it was overwhelming. Let me tell you, it was really hard. So I didn't ever want to do that kind of big public stuff again. But this time it was like push from inside. You got to be down there in public. You got to get out of your hermit stage and get out there. And I was like, ugh. So I put a little tent up and I started reading tarot. Well, what I noticed is that I'm busy. I have people who are waiting to be read. And they're all ages. They're men and they're women. They're teens. They're seniors. There's no consistency in who's finding me for a reading. And what I noticed is that they're coming up and they're saying, I'm not doing really well right now. And they're feeling this, and they're feeling this fire, and they're feeling this pressure, and they're feeling this overwhelm and this chaos, and it's coming from inside of them, and they want some translation. And so it's beautiful how the cards are helping them understand what they can do, how they can do this. So it seems that, for me, after 10 years of having this solid, structured coaching career, it's like, you need to just keep reading tarot. It's like, no, I'm a professional, right? I want to have a professional coaching business. However, my greatest service right now is in helping people understand how to get ready, how to navigate through some of these changes, because that's what we're really addressing. We can push the alarm and we can push it back and we can slow it down, but I don't think it's going to stop. So part of what I do each week is I provide these guides, these tips, right? So here we go. So be mindful that, number one, that what you put in an intention is like a two spot. There's me and then there's that over there, and I'm going to put it out there, throw it out there as a marker, and I'm going to go for it, right? So your body, your mind, your energy, your emotions all line up to do it or to be part of it, right? So just know, when you set an intention, everything is lining up to go do that. Number two, you can set things up that you want to do and that you need to do. So forget about all those shoulds. Now's the time to let go of those outer expectations about what other people think, or the what ifs or the shoulds or the pressures. I'm getting a lot of cards that are saying you're holding on to external pressures that aren't you. So keep it simple. Do what you want, do what you need. Number three, approach explore how you approach changes. Explore them. Like, what do you do with deadlines, assignments, external parameters that sort of say you have to be here at this time? You need to be able to do this. And some of these are markers, of course, that we know that support our finances. They support our relationships. They support our the way we sustain ourselves. So what we want to know is, how do you explore these when they change? Which ones are yours and which ones need to be reviewed and shifted and dropped and renegotiated? Because things are changing. Number four, become really good at the art of renegotiating, which is, when I had all this information, this is what I thought we needed to do. Now that I have new information, let's renegotiate the direction or the ideas of what we need to do. So we review, we redesign. We use all of our intelligences to lay out what we need and what is working and what is not. That makes sense, right? So renegotiate. Number five, set an alarm on these intentions. Like literally program your body. Like for me, I'm going to get up at 7. I'm going to get up at 7. But then again, because 7 is so harsh, especially on Sunday mornings, what if I set it 10 minutes in advance? So that I really give myself one snooze alarm to stretch, to get my fingers going again, to start closing down on the dream state that I'm in, to begin to collect myself and wake up. So the intention is that I'm going to set the alarm and I have 10 minutes of, I could keep my eyes closed if I want, but I'm still beginning to gather all of the pieces that need to be present at 7 o'clock when I put my feet on the ground and I start moving. So this is where we get our circulation going. This is where we start to collaborate with all of our systems and we start to go, so wake up, wakey, wakey, here we go. And we start to move and we start to collect and get ready, right? And number 6, the last one. We're in a time where everything around us is changing and will continue to change and continue to change more. And so it's not like we're going to get to a point and it's going to stop. It's like that budding, you know? And every time we think we get used to it, it changes and expands a little bit more. So count on this. Lean into it. Start to figure out how you move with change and how it's awakening parts of you that you didn't know you were even good at or that you even had. So navigate these changes with this new awakened perception of who you are and how you're taking in data and what's working. So work with all of it, not just little components of it. So this is the kind of stuff I've been doing lately, is talking a lot about how to keep your feet on the ground when you're changing. You can find more videos on this, and you can also get a hold of me if you want to talk. I'm at DeniseDrydenCoaching.com. Have a great Sunday. Have a great time getting ready for this full moon. And take care. All right? Bye-bye.